Welcome to the 34th installment of ESPN Honolulu Fan Friday Talk Story. I'm your host, Tiff Wells. With me today, she recently finished her redshirt junior season. She's a center from the nationally ranked women's water polo team and a Lahainaluna High School alumna, Lalelei Mata. Lale, welcome to Talk Story.
Hello, thank you for having me here today.
Thanks for joining us. Now, it's a large family you come from. How large is your family?
There's seven of us. I have six siblings and I'm one of the youngest. I have a younger brother and three older sisters and two older brothers.
Was it tough growing up with so many brothers and sisters in your family?
It wasn't tough at all. It was actually really fun to have a big family. A lot of excitement to go around. We're always competing against each other, supporting each other, just making each other better in all aspects of life.
What sports did you grow up playing?
I started off playing soccer. Like that was my first sport. But as I grew up, I started getting into wrestling, basketball, water polo, basically any sport, any activity.
any sport with a ball, right?
Yeah. Wrestling doesn't have a ball, but
right.
Yeah.
How did your siblings help you get better as you grew up playing sports?
We just have a love for playing the game, whatever game it may be. Like we're always pushing each other to be better. But it's more so that we had fun doing what we do. So it made everything else easier and made us gain the understanding and concepts of different aspects of what life presents you. So yeah, just support, I guess, and having the love and passion for playing.
What are some of your earliest experiences or some of your earliest memories of growing up and playing sports? Was there like a funny moment? What may be some of your earliest experiences or remembrances of sports that you played?
I knew I liked soccer a lot, even at a young age. Like it was just a fun game to play. Like you have your friends, teammates, you're running up and down trying to score goals. But I think it was wrestling. I started at the age of 4. Like you're not supposed to be at the age of 4 wrestling, but I was a big kid. So like I passed as a 5-year-old, like you're supposed to be a minimum age of 5. But yeah, I think my mom, because all my older siblings, they were wrestlers too. So like she would take me to their practices, and then I guess the coach said, oh, if she wants to jump in, like she can go and wrestle like the young kids over here. And I think that's where I found the love for wrestling, because I was a natural at it at such a young age. And throughout the years, it just showed that it was something I was meant to do, I guess. Like as soon as I stepped on the mat, I was able to just compete and have fun at the same time. And I think that translated to when I took wrestling further in my career. In high school, I became a 4-time state champ on the island of Maui, the first one. So I think I don't know, I think that was pretty funny that I was able to start wrestling at the age of 4, even though they don't really accept 4-year-olds to start wrestling at such a young age.
How do you feel the training for wrestling, how did that help prepare you for water polo, and vice versa? How did the water polo training prepare you for wrestling?
It's basically the moves that I use in wrestling. Like you have takedowns where you shoot for the legs, but I was more of like a upper body type person that wanted to throw my opponents and get them into positions that I could get them into. And I think that translated well to water polo, because the position that I play as a center, you're basically wrestling to hold position and set your teammates up for either giving them the lane to shoot or just holding position so you have an opportunity to get the ball and put the ball away. And I think that having those technique and movements from wrestling, it does help translate into the water. And same thing for water polo. I didn't continue wrestling at the collegiate level, obviously, because I'm here at UH Manoa, but still I know that if I went back to the wrestling mat, that the way we train for water polo, you're basically just pushing, trying to gain position in the water, and it would translate well to wrestling too. I think they're both sports that if you're training, like it's gonna help you in either sport. So yeah.
This one's interesting because we talked about a lot of wrestling, we talked about a lot of water polo, but something that not a lot of people know about you, you've participated in the national NFL punt, pass, and kick competition for a few years. And you, in fact, were the 2008 champion. You were runner up in 2010 and 2014. Describe those experiences.
Well, those were just like I used to go to the Boys and Girls Club down here in Lahaina, and I didn't know what this competition was. So I was like, okay, like I'll try it out because like my friends at school and like all the guys on the football team are like, oh, Lolly, like they have this competition. I think you would be good at it. You should go try it out. So I did try it out, and I ended up like doing pretty well all the years that I have participated. And it was crazy because it just gave like I had a lot of early traveling experiences because of the competition. It's like when you make it past each level, they're able to start I don't know how to say it, like when you make it to the national competition, which is they have regional, states, and then whatever it is where they get, I don't know what it's called. But then when you get past that third stage, they take you to nationals, and that's when they pay for everything. Like they pay for your flights, they pay for your food, and they pay for like your game tickets to go watch a playoff game basically in the NFL. And it's super cool. I had a lot of early experiences with that competition because I was doing so well in it. And I just when I found out that I was making it and like my numbers were high enough to keep continuing on, like my family helped me a lot. They took me out to practice every so often, and I'd throw the football with my brothers all the time, throw the football with my sisters, my dad, whoever was around, like even just playing at the park all the time, and just I don't know, just getting that muscle memory to like train and be able to do what I did. And it was just a really good experience. And I'm glad I had those experiences when I was young because it helped me see that there's other things other than Maui. Like I love my island Maui, but to be young and be able to go and have those experiences and travel and see what's out there, I think that's what helps me wanting to keep going and keep moving forward in life and seeing what I can do, I guess.
You mentioned wrestling and being a four-time champ. How did the off-season training and how did you prepare yourself mentally to try and get better and better every year throughout high school, even though, in the previous month in May, you were a state champion?
Oh yes, for wrestling. Well, I was always a multi-sport athlete, so like I will train for wrestling. I didn't have a fall sport in high school. And I think they had cross country and all that. But because I didn't have a fall sport, we had preseason voluntary like workouts for wrestling. So like I would go up and do those voluntary workouts. And if I wasn't doing that, like I was just always being like active, I guess. And coming from a wrestling family, like we're always wrestling each other wherever we're at, like whether it's at the beach, in the living room. We actually have holes in our living room wall that my dad had to patch up because like we hit like heels into the wall or elbows or all that, but it's just funny. And I guess like I'm a very like active person. Like I always like to be doing something, like any sport. I even like do tennis. Like I know I'm not the best at tennis, but like it's something that keep you moving. And then during the summertime, like we'd always go and play basketball down at our parks. Like every night we'd go, and like I guess we just have the love for sports. And I think when you have that mentality or like the will to want to keep being active because it's something you enjoy, I think it comes naturally and like translates to whatever sport you're trying to do. But for wrestling, I stayed in shape because I was doing other physical activity or training, doing the preseason wrestling workouts.
We know this one may be a little bit tough, but who in your family is the best cook?
I'd have to say, like, I'm a pretty good cook, but if I had to eat food that was not mine, I would say that my oldest sister, Leah, is probably the most well-rounded cook. Like, everyone has their special dish, but I think if I had to choose someone to bring on a deserted island with me to make some meals, it would be my sister, Leah. Yeah. She makes a good, like, breaded pork chop, and it's like something everyone has to try, but unfortunately, they won't be able to.
We know that you call the Duke Kahanamoku Aquatic Complex your home. We know you're on Maui. When you were able to get back to Lahainaluna and you were at the pool earlier this week, you posted something on Instagram. But what kind of emotions do you have when you get to go back to your alma mater and you see the gym, you see the pool where you spent so much time as a high school athlete?
I mean, it's just crazy. Like I've been on Oahu most of the time for the past 5 years I've been in college, and going back to see my pool yesterday, it was like I was feeling at home, like um I mean, it was just such a familiar sight, but at the same time, I felt like I haven't seen it in so long that I don't know, I was just really happy or like excited to be there and see like, oh, this is where I was training back in high school. This is where like my nieces will play when they're in high school. It's just like crazy. It's crazy making a connection because I think coming back, like all of my siblings, when we come back, we always try to give back to the community, see what we can do, and like offer our like time to help be like good role models to the upcoming like high schoolers or just kids in general, like show them that there's more to Maui than just the beauty, like you can do whatever you want to do. You just gotta keep pushing and make a life for yourself. And it's through just working hard, and keeping focus and knowing what you want to do.
So coming out of high school, star athlete in water polo, a star in wrestling. Was it tough to pick water polo over wrestling? And what led you to pick to play water polo at UH?
I mean, it was tough. It was tough, but ultimately I knew I wanted to do water polo. And like the decision didn't come easy. I knew that I love both sports, but early on, like during my wrestling season, I was just thinking like, okay, like I do like this, like I would continue it in college, but I was just thinking like, okay, like right now though, there's no level after like college. Like there's just college, but then there's no like I'm a pretty big girl, like I don't think the weight class that they had for like Olympics or like world trials would be realistic that I could drop to and still compete at my highest level. So I was thinking about long term. And for water polo, like I love water polo too. It's like passion to me, like I wanted to take it further than just college, and I knew I had the opportunity to do that in water polo more so than wrestling. And then I don't regret my decision at all. Like I'm glad that I chose to do water polo because it's just a sport that at the time, like coming out of high school, I knew that I was good at it, but I knew that there was so much more that I could like learn or like achieve in the sport. So I felt like it was a challenge to me. So I like challenges, and choosing water polo to like further my experiences in water polo, I think it was the right choice for me, and I never regretted the decision. But I do think
Well,
that if there were, like opportunities for wrestling, that it would have made the decision a lot harder. But because there was like I had a clear sight of like what I could accomplish in water polo, I was like, that's the sport for me. That's what I'm gonna choose to do.
when we talked with Coach Mo a couple of episodes ago on one of these Fan Friday Talk stories, she mentioned that basically 90% of the action in a water polo match, us as fans, we don't get to see because everything happens for the most part underneath the surface. What exactly goes on in a water polo match that us fans can't see underwater?
Yeah, I mean, like it's a lot of craziness. It just depends on who you're matching up on, honestly. because some girls like to play like head games with you, mental games, and like, oh, if I hit here, I'm gonna get them out of their game, and they're gonna hit me back and do something stupid, you know. But there's kicking, there's scratching, there's punching. It's like anything you can get away with without the refs like catching it. You know, the refs only have two. We have two refs, one on each side. They have like four eyes all together. They're not gonna be able to see everything that every girl's doing in the pool. And one of the refs' main thing is to watch center and set. So they have their eye on two girls, and the other ref has to watch the perimeter. But then again, like you never know. Like as a player, as a sneaky swift, not me, like because I'm just trying to do my job in center. But I'm saying like if you have a sneaky player, like they will always know where the ref is, so they know like what they can get away with, you know. But most girls just play to like win, you know. They're not gonna be throwing low blows and doing stuff to get people hurt for the most part. Like that's my teammates at least. Like we play fair. We're gonna beat you because we're better than you, not because we have to throw cheap shots, you know. So yeah.
We've talked about this position of center, and for those that may not be as familiar with water polo, how can you describe your position, and in Coach Mo's philosophy or system, what are your main responsibilities?
Okay, so I'm the center. I guess you can relate like the positions in water polo a little bit to basketball. I mean, it's a completely different because we're in the water, but just like the system of like, oh, you have wings, you have forwards, you have center. I play the center position, so I'm like on offense, I'm directly in front of the goal on the 2 meter, like 2 meter line and above. So my job or my position is like you are like, I wouldn't say you dictate how the offense is run or ran a little bit, because your positioning and your position is super important to like what we can accomplish on offense. So if I'm holding good position, that means I'm getting the better of my defender. So I'm opening up or I'm opening up opportunities for my teammates either by holding position, which is great because then I'm giving options like they can throw the ball to me, they can pass it down, there's a shot open, a lot of opportunities. So I have to do my job by holding position. And if I do that, I can either receive the ball, hopefully score or draw a kick out, or distract the defender from blocking or draw a zone. If I'm holding good position, I'm going to draw a zone, and that's good for the perimeter because then they have more opportunity to move in and shoot. So my job is very important, and yeah, so hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Maybe you should watch our games at this upcoming season and remember what I said, and maybe you can see.
We will definitely watch that game, Lale, next year, and we'll watch not just watch one game. We'll watch as many as we can so we can understand more of what you described, because you did a very good job of describing it. So stay right there. We do need to take a break. Along with Women's Water Polo Center Lalelei Mata, I'm Tiff Wells. You're listening to ESPN Honolulu Fan Friday Top Story. Welcome back to episode 34 of ESPN Honolulu Fan Friday Top Story. I'm your host, Tiff Wells. We're here with Women's Water Polo Center Lalelei Mata. Now, Lale, you talked about representing Maui, born and raised on the island, born in Wailuku, raised in Lahaina. How proud are you to represent West Maui and the entire island?
I mean, I'm so proud to represent this island. We have such humble, deserving people here that are really proud of everyone that makes it out of Maui, you know, like the support here is real and everyone's always wanting the best, and it's just a good atmosphere to be around, you know. Like you see Colton Cowell too, he had a very warm welcome from winning NC2A championship with the men's volleyball, and it just goes to show like that Maui people are very proud people, and they will support everyone that comes from here, you know. And it's just, I'm very happy to come from an island that's so welcoming and wanting to see everyone do well, you know. And I mean, they've always supported my family too with as many athletes we have here. So it's just nice to come back to knowing that we're always welcome here and we do what we do to bring pride back to Maui, and it's a good feeling.
We've talked about your brothers and sisters. One of your brothers, many people know he's with the Minnesota Vikings. Hercules was an All-American at Washington State. To see him play in the NFL, even though he was an undrafted player coming out of Washington State, what kind of pride is there for the family knowing that your older brother is in the NFL?
I mean, it's so unheard of to come from such a small island and make it big, but everyone knew from such a young age that football was his focus. And in Pop Warner, he was turning heads. In high school, he was turning heads. And college, he was turning heads. And he was always the underdog. Like he was always undersized, but he played with a bigger heart and like a bigger, like he has so much passion for the game that it just translates to him being able to make that tough 53 roster the past 3 years that he's been on the Vikings. And I think he's just using all those challenges to keep him motivated. And with the support he has with his friends, his family, all of us here, like it's just helping him move forward and keep pushing, like he has the self-love, like the self-interest and passion in himself, but having people surrounding him with good energy and keeping him on the rise is what's going to keep him going. And he's going to do great things. He's a good role model to my little brother I'm actually taking him to college this week because he has to go start training already. And that's my little brother Matai. Like all the siblings flew back here for his graduation this past weekend. So we had the whole crew here for the first time in a while because we're all over the place. We're doing different things. Like I have my sister that plays water polo in Italy. My brother works for the mayor on the other side of the island. I have my sister on Oahu. Like we're all on different stages of our life, but we all came back to see my little brother graduate, the last one of the Mata Alpha siblings. So it was nice to all be here, and we're excited to see where his journey takes him when he heads out to Mississippi State this next coming year.
And that was me. My next question was: we know that your younger brother Matai, as you said, graduated. He's going to Mississippi State. You do take him to college later on this week. What may be the one or two pieces of advice you give to him, as you won't be crying when you drop him off at college?
No, I'll stay strong. My mom's taking him too. She might be the one that's shedding tears a little bit, because it's the last one leaving the nest. My parents sent 7 kids off to college, and he's the last one, the baby. So I won't be crying, maybe just a little bit, but I'll have to have my mom crying on my shoulder on the plane ride home. But the advice that I'll give to him is like, enjoy what you're doing. Like, what your goals are. Make sure you set them for yourself, but have fun during the process and just, I don't know, just have fun. And it's your experience. We're here for you no matter what, and we know you're gonna do great things. So we're just a part of your journey. Like it's your journey, you write your path, and we're here to support you all the way through it.
We know that all Hawaii teams have to log a lot of air miles each year, each season. When you travel with the water polo team, what are a couple of must-have items that you have to have for a 5-6 hour plane ride?
Oh, my teammates are jealous because most of the time I just knock out completely on the plane. But to make sure that, I don't know, like I do get dehydrated, like traveling gets you dehydrated and stuff. So I make sure like I buy a big bottle of water, like fill up my hydro flask with water before we set free. And I like to have my headphones in to listen to music to help me like doze off. And then I pretty much knock out the whole flight instead of like, except for when they give you like the sandwich or whatever. But like other than that, like I'm able to just sleep like a baby.
We know that you wear. We also know that you wear cap number 10. Was there a story behind it? Is number 10 your favorite number?
Now it is. I was actually number 4 in high school. I wanted to be number 4, but it was taken. Like there was seniors ahead of me. So I was like, okay, whatever. And then I just chose 10 and I just really liked it. Like it stuck with me. Not really a story behind it, but I guess I just liked it and it stuck and it suited me very well, in my opinion. So I don't know. And the referee, like if I ever get excluded or draw an exclusion, like they do a fist pump because that's how they signal number 10 in water polo.
Was it tough to play UCLA in their home pool during the NC2As this season?
I mean, I'm not gonna make excuses. Like UCLA is a tough team to play any day of the year, any time of the year. It's just a matter of like I know we had the weapons to beat them. It's just who plays better on that given day, and they outplayed us that day. But I wouldn't doubt it. Like if we matched up with them again, like we'd still give them a good run for their money. And I'm looking forward to this upcoming season because everyone or all the teams in the NC2A will be back to full strength. Like it'll be a year. Like I don't know full strength, but we played during a COVID year this year. Like not everyone was there, and we did what we could with the season because there are restrictions, obviously. But next year, I feel like I don't know if there'll be restrictions or not, but we'll be ready to play whoever we match up with. And it's just I'm still proud of my teammates. Like we had a really good season, and it was a great season actually. But we're looking forward to improving and bringing it again next year because we'll be back in hungry and ready, more ready than ever.
In that quarterfinal match against UCLA, as we looked at the box score, you did play your traditional position of center, but you also had a couple of minutes being in the cage. What can you tell us about the change of position in that game?
Well, we practiced it earlier that week, but it was just like it was a game situation we practiced, and it was like okay, like if it's the fourth quarter and we need goals, we're gonna put me in not necessarily as someone to be like blocking, but to play as an extra defender. So like we're trying to guard every person and get a steal instead of like trying to get a block. And it's like a high risk, high reward type of thing. Unfortunately, we fell on the short end of the stick, but it's like we had to risk it in that moment to like be like, okay, are we able to get a few quick steals to like score, So that was like the mindset behind it. And I mean, like it was the NC2A tournament. We have to do whatever we can to get ourselves a win, We felt we went on the short end of the stick, but we only practiced it once, and maybe we'll see like how it goes next year. We have to pull it out again, but for right now, like that was the mindset behind it to get an extra defender in the field so we're able to guard everyone.
Last one here for you, Lale. We know that the Hawaii Athletics fan base isn't just an island thing, a state thing. It's a worldwide fan base. So if you had a message to them, what would you like to tell them?
I mean, thank you for the support. Thank you for following us throughout all Hawaii athletics, and we thrive off of your energy, and we appreciate your support so much. And I don't know, just keep supporting us, and we'll do great things for you guys. And everything we do is for the fans, for our family, for our friends, and we just love you guys so much. And thank you for always supporting us and having our backs.
Lale, this has been so much fun. We appreciate the time you've given us today. Thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on a great season, and safe travels with Matai over to Starkville this week.
For sure. I haven't been to Mississippi before, so we'll see how it goes. I'm excited to take my little brother. Thank you so much for having me.
Enjoy the trip, and thanks again, Lale.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
For Lalelei Mata, as well as the rest of us here at ESPN Honolulu, I'm Tiff Wells saying thank you so much for joining us here on the 34th edition of ESPN Honolulu Fan Friday Talk Story. Until next time, wear that mask, stay safe, and be socially distant.